Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And to all my brothers out here preaching this truth to you, I say Shalom. This is a Montazar from the Chicago camp coming back at you again with another lesson entitled, Did They Die in Vain? I wasn't sure what the title I was going to name this. I just said, did they die in vain as a question? So who am I talking about? I'm talking about the 7 brothers and the mothers of 2nd Maccabees, the 7th chapter. Okay? So you have stupid Christians today, right, who believe that it's okay to eat swine's flesh today. Okay? The devil named it pork. All right, but it's swine. That's what it's known in the Bible. All right, changing the name ain't gonna do anything. All right, we know what it is. It's swine. All right, so dumb Christians think that it's okay to eat swine's flesh today. All right, that all things are good with prayer and thanksgiving. That's what they say. All right, but that's a lie. That's not true at all. And the question of the day is, did they die in vain? So let's take a look at 2nd Maccabees, the 7th chapter. I want to read that chapter. And then also with the understanding that Esau tried to take the Apocrypha out of the Bible, right? Because the Apocrypha does a great job exposing him and his wickedness, all right? So no one was more wicked than Esau, Edom. And we're still in his captivity. All right. Now, 2nd Maccabees, the 7th chapter, you have Antiochus, right, basically killing these 7 brothers and their mother because they refused to eat swine's flesh. So let's read, starting at 1. And it came to pass also that 7 brethren with their mother were taken and compelled by the king against the law to taste swine's flesh, and were tormented with scourges and whips. But one of them that spake first said thus, What wouldest thou ask or learn of us? We are ready to die, rather than to transgress the laws of our fathers. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot. So as a side note, there was a rap album called Ready to Die, and that was with so-called Biggie Smalls, right? And he was not ready to die, okay? But these young men were. All right, back at 3. Then the king, being in a rage, commanded pans and cauldrons to be made hot, which forthwith being heated, he commanded to cut out the tongue of him that spake first, and to cut off the uttermost parts of his body, the rest of his brethren and his mother looking on. Now when he was thus maimed in all his members, he commanded him, being yet alive, to be brought to the fire, and to be fried in the pan. And as the vapor of the pan was for a good space dispersed, they exhorted one another with the mother to die manfully, saying thus, Yahweh power looketh upon us, and in truth have comfort in us, as Moses in his song, which witnessed to their faces, declared, saying, he should be comforted in his servants. So when the first was dead, after this number, they brought the second to make him a mocking stock, and when they had pulled off the skin of his head with the hair, they asked him, Wilt thou eat before thou be punished throughout every member of thy body? Wicked bastard. But he answered in his own language and said, No. Wherefore he also received the next torment in order as the former did. And when he was at the last gasp, he said, Thou like a fury takest us out of this present life, but the King of the world shall raise us up, who have died for his laws unto everlasting life. After him was the third made a mocking stock. When he was required, he put out his tongue, and that right soon, holding forth his hands manfully, and said courageously, These I had from heaven, and for his laws I despised them, and from him I hope to receive them again. Insomuch that the king and they that were with him marveled at the young man's courage, for that he nothing regarded the pains. Now when this man was dead also, they tormented and mangled the fourth in like manner. So when he was ready to die, he said thus, It is good being put to death by men, to look for hope from the Most High, to be raised up again by him. As for thee, thou shalt have no resurrection to life. Afterward, they brought the fifth also, and mangled him. Then looked he unto the king, and said, Thou hast power over men, thou art corruptible. Thou doest what thou wilt. Yet think not that our nation is forsaken of the Most High. But abide a while, and behold his great power, how he would torment thee and thy seed. After him also they brought the sixth, who being ready to die said, Be not deceived without cause, for we suffer these things for ourselves, having sinned against our power. Therefore marvelous things are done unto us. But think not thou that takest in hand to strive against the Most High, that thou shalt escape punishment. But the mother was marvelous above all, and worthy of honorable mention. For when she saw her 7 sons slain within the space of one day, she bare it with good courage, because of the hope that she had in Yahweh. Yea, she exhorted every one of them in her own language, filled with courageous spirits, and stirring up her womanish thoughts with a manly stomach, she said unto them, I cannot tell how ye came into my womb, for I neither gave you breath nor life, neither was it I that formed the members of every one of you. But doubtless the Creator of the world, who formed the generation of man, and found out the beginning of all things, will also of his own mercy give you breath and life again, as ye now regard not yourselves for his law's sake. Now Antiochus, thinking himself despised, and suspecting it to be a reproachful speech, whilst the youngest was yet alive, did not only exhort him by words, but also assured him with oaths that he would make him both rich and happy, and a happy man, if he would turn from the laws of his fathers, and that also he would take him for his friend, and trust him with affairs. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life. So you see Esau, he didn't mutilated and killed his brothers right in front of him, and he's trying to beg him and bribe him, to turn from the laws of his fathers and be his friend. Okay, so turn from the Lord and be my friend. That makes no sense at all. But when the young man would in no case hearken unto him, the king called his mother and exhorted her that she would counsel the young man to save his life. And when he had exhorted her, with many words, she promised him that she would counsel her son. But she, bowing herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spake in her country language on this manner, O my son, have pity upon me. They bare thee, 9 months in my womb, and gave thee such 3 years, and nourished thee and brought thee up unto this age, and endured the troubles of education. I beseech thee, my son, look upon the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, and consider that the Most High made them of things that were not, and so was mankind made likewise. Fear not this tormentor, but being worthy of thy brethren, take thy death, that I may receive thee again in mercy with thy brethren. While she was yet speaking these words, the young man said, Whom wait ye for? I will not obey the king's commandment, but I will obey the commandment of the law that was given unto our fathers by Moses. And thou, that hast been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews, shall not escape the hands of the Most High. For we suffer because of our sins. And though the living Lord be angry with us a little while for our chastening and correction, yet shall he be at one again with his servants. But thou, O godless man, and of all other most wicked, be not lifted up without a cause, nor puffed up with uncertain hopes, lifting up thy hand against the servants of the Most High. For thou hast not yet escaped the judgment of Almighty Power, who seeth all things. For our brethren, who now have suffered a short pain, are dead under God's covenant of everlasting life. But thou, through the judgment of the Most High, shalt receive just punishment for thy pride. But I, as my brethren, offer up my body and life for the laws of our fathers, beseeching the Most High that he will speedily be merciful unto our nation, and that thou by torments and plagues mayest confess that he alone is the Most High, and that in me and my brethren the wrath of the Almighty, which is justly brought upon our nation, may cease. Then the king, being in a rage, handed him worse than all the rest, and took it grievously that he was mocked. So this man died undefiled, and put his whole trust in Yahweh. Last of all, after the sons, the mother died. Let this be enough now to have spoken concerning the idolatrous feast and the extreme tortures. All right. So I read that, and I asked the question is, did they die in vain? What was the purpose of them dying for the laws if the law was done away with? So let's go to Romans 15:4 to see what was the purpose, all right, of reading that. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort in the scriptures might have hope. So today, we can only hope that the Lord, okay, whatever decision that he makes for each one of us, right, is that that he puts the Spirit upon us to take it. Whatever the situation may be, that he puts the Spirit on us to stand, all right, and also to take whatever comes, all right. This is Isaiah 66:15. For those who believe, you can eat whatever you want. So this right here is the return, all right, of Yahushua to the earth. For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh, and the slain of Yahweh shall be many. They that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh, and the abomination and the mouse should be consumed together, said Yahweh. Okay, so that's at the return. All right, that's on the Lord's day. So he's judging people for eating swine's flesh. So lastly, I want to go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 3rd chapter. All right. And it reads, But the souls of the righteous are in the hand of the Most High, and there shall no torment touch them. In the sight of the unwise they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery, and their going from us to be utter destruction. But they are in peace. But though they be punished in the sight of men, yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For the Most High proved them and found them worthy for himself. As gold in the furnace hath he tried them and received them as a burnt offering. And in the time of their visitation they shall shine, and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble. They shall judge the nations and have dominion over the people, and their Yahweh shall reign forever. They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he hath care for his elect. So, some of us, all right, are going to, die deaths, all right. But the only thing we pray is that we have the spirit to take it, all right, and the spirit to stand, because afterwards, then comes the power, all right. Then we're going to shine and run to and fro like sparks on the flame. Then we're going to get those supernatural powers, all right. And we won't study war no more. We won't be in pain anymore, all right. And then there's going to be, that's that rulership and subjugation of the nations, all right. But with that, I pray that this lesson was edifying. Until the next one, Shalom.